Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we are going to walk through how to use my material participation hours tracker. The reason why this is important is because no matter which strategy you use, or whether you're trying to qualify as a real estate professional or you're using the short-term rental loophole, you're going to need to keep track of your time. It isn't one thing to just be in real estate full time, but you also have to track and prove that you're in real estate to some sort of capacity. And well, first we start off with kind of what hours count, what hours don't count. Well, generally speaking, you can start counting your hours once the property is under contract. Oftentimes, the time that's spent before that property, doing negotiations, analyzing deals, traveling, blah blah blah, that time is not going to be count because it's very easy to be abused or it's ripe for abuse, right? And that's also why they don't count travel time either. So once property's under contract, that's typically the time when you can start counting your time towards that property. Now, um, just some general throwouts there. Like I said, the travel time to and from properties is generally not going to count. It's not going to count. Research and education hours are also not going to count. So, time spent at say like boot camps or training videos, that time is not going to count. But over here on the right, we kind of have a list of hours that do and don't count. But walking through the template, right? It's going to be pretty basic. So you're just going to put the date that you perform the activity. Oh wow, we're in 2022 now. I forgot. You're going to put your property's address. So if I just put a property that I have, the activity. What did you do, right? So maybe I replace. So the other day I had to replace um, air filters in house, right? How much time did you spend on that? So let's just say let's use increments of an hour. So let's just say half an hour. Other notes or receipts. So this could be something. What I like to tell people is, let's say you go to Home Depot to buy a fridge, and then you go and install that fridge. Well, it would be very helpful if you were to say, shopped for new fridge and installed it. It would be very helpful for you to also provide a receipt for that fridge. So whether you scan the receipt and kind of upload it to something like Expensify or Google Sheets, something to kind of also vouch for your validity of that you actually bought a fridge and installed it that day, something like that. Lastly, you're going to have, if you're a husband and wife team trying to go for material participation, you're going to want to keep track of who was the person that performed the hours. Now, something important to call out here is that you cannot double count your time for material participation purposes. So if you guys both go somewhere and you guys are both installing lights at the same time, you're not going to be able to double count that time. But what you can do is, let's say you go to you travel to the property, you're in the property, and somebody's working on the floorboard, and maybe somebody's fixing or hanging lights upstairs. As long as you're doing two different activities, you guys can both count your time, but you're not able to count. You're not able to double count time there. And just I have the links above here to some of the Spotify episodes where I talk about material participation and why it's important for you from a tax strategy perspective, but also from a documentation standpoint. Because if you're ever to go under audit with the IRS, they're going to want to see a time log and you to prove the time that you spent in your rental properties. And so this is what you're going to want to use to help track your time. Now, you can also use like an app on the phone. You feel free to download this or make this into a Google Sheet, and then that way you could take it anywhere on the go. Feel free to get creative with this too. Don't get creative on your time tracking. Don't overcount your hours there, but feel free to kind of shape and mold this to however you want it. But if you have any questions, again, just feel free to reach out. And this is my material participation hours tracker. Thanks.
Thanks so much for taking the time to check out this video. You probably watched this because you're a real estate investor who feels like they're paying way too much on taxes. It's not your fault. They don't teach us in school, and most real estate investors have bad accountants who don't know the real estate tax code like we do. If you don't mind, I'll share the 3 best perks of working with us. Number 1, you get access to a community of over 250 tax-smart investors. Number 2, you get one-on-one calls with your own tax strategist. And number 3, you get weekly calls with me discussing personal finances, real estate investing, and of course, taxes. If you had all this, do you still think you'd pay that much in taxes? If you're interested right now in learning how you can craft a tax strategy game plan, my team is standing by ready to take your call. Just use the calendar below to book your free tax consultation.